From online bookstore to everything store, the Amazon empire. Picture this. It's 1994, and a 30-year-old Princeton graduate named Jeff Bezos is driving across the country from New York to Seattle, furiously scribbling business plans in the passenger seat while his wife Mackenzie drives. He's just quit his cushy job at a hedge fund after reading that internet usage is growing at 300% per year. Most people barely know what the World Wide Web is, but Bezos sees something they don't. He's not thinking about becoming the richest man in the world or building a $1 trillion company. He's thinking about books, just books. But here's the twist that would reshape the entire global economy. Bezos wasn't really building a bookstore at all. He was building the infrastructure for everything. The garage everyone talks about wasn't even a garage, it was a converted garage in a rented house in Bellevue, Washington. Bezos started with $300,000, mostly from his parents, who later admitted they didn't understand the internet but believed in their son. On July 16, 1995, Amazon.com went live with a simple mission: to be Earth's biggest bookstore. The timing was perfect. There were over 3 million books in print, but even the largest physical bookstore could only stock 175,000 titles. Bezos realized that an online store could offer unlimited virtual shelf space. The first book sold was Fluid Concepts and Creative Analogies by Douglas Hofstadter, shipped to a computer programmer in California. Within the first month, Amazon had shipped books to all 50 states and 45 countries. Bezos and his small team were literally on their hands and knees in that garage, packing books and driving packages to the post office themselves. They used desks made from doors and 2x4s because Bezos was obsessed with keeping costs low, a frugality principle that would become legendary within Amazon culture. But even in those early days, the clues were there that this was never really about books. Bezos had originally considered calling the company Relentless.com. If you type that URL today, it still redirects to Amazon. He chose Amazon because it started with A and represented something exotic and different, the largest river in the world. More importantly, he wrote in his original business plan that books were just the beginning. He called it a get big fast strategy, and books were simply the best place to start because they were standardized products that shipped easily and had a massive selection that physical stores couldn't match. By 1996, Amazon's revenue hit $15.7 million. By 1997, they went public with one of the most unusual IPO letters ever written, where Bezos warned investors that they would prioritize long-term market leadership over short-term profitability. Wall Street thought he was crazy. The stock price would prove them spectacularly wrong. The expansion beyond books began almost immediately, but it wasn't random, it was methodical. In 1998, Amazon added music and DVDs. Then came electronics, toys, and home improvement products. Each category was chosen based on data: what shipped well, what had good margins, and what customers were already asking for. But the real genius wasn't in the products Amazon sold. It was in the infrastructure they were building behind the scenes. While competitors focused on their storefronts, Bezos was obsessing over warehouses, logistics, and technology. Amazon built massive fulfillment centers that were essentially automated cities of products. They developed proprietary software that could predict what customers wanted before the customers knew it themselves. By 2000, Amazon was losing money on almost every sale, but they were gathering data and building systems that would eventually make them unstoppable. When the dot-com bubble burst in 2001, hundreds of internet companies died, but Amazon survived because they had real customers, real sales, and real infrastructure. The introduction of Amazon Prime in 2005 marked the moment when Amazon stopped being a retailer and became a platform. For $79 a year, customers got free 2-day shipping on millions of items. Critics called it financial suicide. How could Amazon afford to ship products for free? But Bezos understood something profound about human psychology. Once customers paid that annual fee, they would shop at Amazon first for everything to justify their investment. Prime members spent twice as much as regular customers. More importantly, Prime created a moat around Amazon's business that competitors couldn't easily cross. It wasn't just about shipping, it was about changing customer behavior and creating loyalty that went beyond price comparison. The program now has over 200 million members worldwide who spend an average of $1,400 per year compared to $600 for non-Prime customers. Prime became Amazon's secret weapon for customer retention and the foundation for everything that followed. Then came the move that nobody saw coming: Amazon Web Services. In 2006, while everyone thought Amazon was a retailer, they quietly launched a cloud computing platform. The genesis was brilliant in its simplicity. Amazon had built massive computing infrastructure to handle their own peak shopping loads, like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. But for most of the year, that computing power sat idle. Instead of wasting it, they decided to rent it out to other companies. AWS started as a side project but became the profit engine that funded everything else. Today, AWS controls about 32% of the global cloud computing market and generates over 70 billion in annual revenue with profit margins that make traditional retailers weep. Companies like Netflix, Spotify, and even government agencies run on Amazon servers. The irony is delicious. Amazon's competitors often pay Amazon for the computing power to compete against Amazon. AWS didn't just diversify Amazon's business, it gave them the financial foundation to lose money in retail while building market dominance. The Kindle launch in 2007 showed Amazon's willingness to disrupt even their own successful business lines. Physical books had made Amazon famous, but Bezos was willing to cannibalize book sales to own the future of reading. The first Kindle sold out in 5.5 hours and remained out of stock for months. But the device was never the real product. The ecosystem was. Amazon made it ridiculously easy to buy and download books instantly, and they used aggressive pricing to build the market. They sold many ebooks at a loss, infuriating publishers but delighting customers. Traditional bookstores couldn't compete with instant delivery and $9.99 bestsellers. Amazon's approach was classic Bezos. Sacrifice short-term profits to build long-term customer obsession. Today, Amazon controls roughly 67% of the ebook market and has expanded Kindle into a suite of devices and services that generate billions in revenue. The acquisition of Whole Foods in 2017 for $13.7 billion marked Amazon's most dramatic expansion into physical retail, but it wasn't about groceries. It was about data and logistics. Suddenly, Amazon had 460 physical locations in affluent neighborhoods, giving them proximity to millions of Prime customers for faster delivery. They turned Whole Foods stores into mini fulfillment centers and pickup locations. Amazon's approach to groceries combined their technology obsession with retail fundamentals. They lowered prices immediately after the acquisition, integrated Prime benefits, and began experimenting with cashierless Amazon Go stores that use computer vision and machine learning to track purchases automatically. The move signaled that Amazon wasn't content to dominate online retail. They wanted to reimagine physical retail too. Grocery sales now represent over $18 billion of Amazon's annual revenue, and their logistics network can deliver fresh food to your door in many cities within hours. Today, Amazon is no longer a company. It's an ecosystem that touches nearly every aspect of modern life. They're the world's largest cloud computing provider, the dominant force in e-commerce with over 40% of online sales in the United States, a major logistics company that delivers billions of packages annually, a media powerhouse with Prime Video competing against Netflix and Disney, a voice computing leader with Alexa devices in over 100 million homes, and even a space exploration company through Blue Origin. Amazon employs over 1.5 million people worldwide, making it one of the largest private employers on Earth. Their annual revenue exceeds $500 billion, larger than the GDP of most countries. But perhaps the most staggering statistic is this: Amazon's market capitalization has exceeded $7 trillion, making it one of the most valuable companies in human history. Jeff Bezos, who started by packing books in a garage, became the world's richest person with a net worth that peaked at over $200 billion. The Amazon story isn't really about books or even retail. It's about the power of thinking decades ahead while everyone else thinks in quarters. It's about building infrastructure that becomes more valuable than the products that run on it. It's about understanding that in the digital age, customer data and logistics networks create competitive advantages that traditional businesses can't match. Bezos built Amazon on a simple but revolutionary principle: obsess over customers, not competitors. While other retailers focused on protecting their margins, Amazon focused on expanding their reach. While others optimized for quarterly profits, Amazon optimized for long-term dominance. The result is a company that started by selling books from a garage and ended up owning the clouds that power the internet itself. Amazon didn't just build an empire, they built the infrastructure that other empires depend on to survive. And that, perhaps, is the most powerful business model ever created. becoming so essential to the global economy that your success becomes inevitable.